to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Hello again, everybody. Wally Drangmeister here, the ABQ show, live from Dream Style Arena, the Pit, and we have a very special couple of guests today who are going to give us some perspectives on the state tournament. They are one of the few father-son broadcast teams in the business. Ed and Nick Nunez, what I'd like to call Team Enye.
I love it, Wally. That's a great name. And you know what? Listen, without that Enye on the second end, it's not Nunez. My sister always reminds me of that.
It's Nunez, and that's
you know
not what it is.
That's right. So my sister always reminds me of that. She's right.
All right, so Ed, great to have you here. You've been involved with the state tournament all week, but you have a broad background in the sport. You've been an official, you've coached, you've announced. Tell us, what does this sport mean to you and as it relates to basketball here in New Mexico?
You know, that's a great question because, you know, I also played for Highland. I was fortunate to coach, officiated for 22 years. When I couldn't officiate anymore in 2011, J.D. Healy, then the president of ProView Networks, brought me on as an announcer. I never missed officiating after that because, Wally, you know, frankly speaking, I was 50 years old at that time, and my knees, after playing all those years, were just done in. So I've been broadcasting with ProView Networks now for about 7 years, and I've covered the tournament, and I'm lucky, I'm blessed to have been in several different roles in this game. So I can't tell you, you already know. And it's funny, sometimes we've been to Santa Ana all week. Great job by the crew at Santa Ana. And sometimes I'll be tired, but when that game starts and I see those kids, my adrenaline, like I'm on the floor. That's why before the game, or if I'm with Roger Holian or my son, we got to walk down to the floor to get the feel.
Yes.
To get the feel, to talk to the coaches, to feel the electricity. So I love it. It's been great.
You know, I think the New Mexico State Tournament, you know, I've been to a few others around the country. This thing is unique. This is something special. I call it New Mexico's family reunion because we all come together as a state. People come from the four corners of the state, play here. You see people that you haven't seen in years. But this basketball, it brings New Mexico together.
We've got Valley in the state championship right now playing Las Lunas, and that's a great point because as I walk around the pit, every 5 seconds or 5 minutes, it seems, I see somebody that I haven't seen, and the relationship was made through sports, made through basketball, made as an official, made when I played against somebody, so made when I broadcast, you know, so there's been many different relationships, and I'll tell you what, they've all been good. I'm blessed, a blessed man, very, very much blessed.
Yeah. Now, tell us, how many, round numbers if you don't know exact, how many basketball games did you call this year?
Oh, this year I couldn't tell you. You know,
yeah.
I don't even know. I'd have to go back in my mind. But this week, for the state tournament starting last week, it was 20. 20 games this week. And, man, I had to pace myself a little bit. But like I said, when I saw these kids playing as hard as they were, my adrenaline started flowing, and I forgot that I was tired. So, yeah, and I feel like that now. My son and I have another game at 6 o'clock.
Well, and your voice sounds good to talk for 20 hours plus. That's incredible. That sounds
20
good.
games,
yeah, no, I mean, 30 hours.
Myself. I learned from the legendary Henry T. You know, there's a lot of people I broadcast with. Scott Galetti's awesome. Richard Tripp. All of our guys, Adam, Diehl, Sebastian Noel, Tyler Ortega, Leroy Lucero. They're all awesome. Our production guys. So there's people that you hear things from and you learn from. You can only be yourself. That's what they said. I said to myself as an official, there's certain parts of other games that I would look at and emulate, but I can only be myself, Ed Nunez, and I'm still trying to learn and get better with each broadcast.
Okay, now you've seen a lot of basketball games. Give me a moment or two that sticks out that's maybe it's not something that was in the headlines in the Albuquerque Journal that people are talking about, but there are poignant things that happened in the state tournament. There are a couple examples that you think of this week.
You know what, I think one of the things is this is a game that my son and I just did, Hot Springs against Santa Fe Indian, the overtime game. There's so many things in that game that went back and forth. You wouldn't see a lot of headlines, but I think when you ask about headlines, it's me being able to be blessed to do a game with my son.
Yes.
Because, you know, you mentioned father-son broadcast teams. We don't see a lot of them. He started broadcasting with me when he was 20 years old.
Yes.
And I'll tell you one thing, the poise, the articulation, the way he breaks down a game will surprise. He coached and played too at St. Pius. He coached under Damian Segura, who just announced his retirement. And the way he breaks games down would amaze you. It really amazes me. But like I said, these are memories my son and I will never forget as long as, you know, we're able to live. So that's one memory. But I just think, you know, just seeing these tournament runs that Valley went on, they may have not made headlines. Hope had won championships. They move up to a 4A classification. Valley beats them.
Yes.
You know, down goes the Giant, right?
Yes.
But I'll say this, Wally, you can't win every time, right?
Right.
Hope has been incredible. Jim Murphy, 16 championships, 800 victories. That doesn't mean that they're not any good. Sometimes you lose. So Valley on the run, they're you know, at the state championship here, and 35-34, so they're right in the thick of it. That wasn't a surprise. It's Valley's first year in this 4A classification, but Joe Coleman, the Valley coach, has been an excellent coach for 20 years.
No, and we've seen some fantastic runs, you know, St. Pius back in the day, Albuquerque Academy. But, you know, what Hope did was very special, their run of state championships, and the respect that that program earned, not only in the classification they're in, but playing against the bigger schools in the regular season is something where, you know, I never heard anything but respect for that program and what they've accomplished.
Well, you know, I said this to somebody the other day, that I played basketball with Jim Murphy back in the 80s. Myself, him, and Ray Rodriguez, the head coach at Cibola, were on a team together. So I've known Coach Murphy for many years. He's a Hall of Fame coach, but he's a Hall of Fame person. I have the utmost respect for him. You know, when he wins and loses, I mean, he wants to win, of course, but even when he loses, he'll be the first to tell you that Valley was the better team the other night.
Yes.
He's such a class act.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, and people always give athletes and athletics a lot of shine. He's a Hall of Fame man as a person.
Yeah.
So I can't say, you mentioned Albuquerque High back in the day with the legendary Jim Holzman. At Academy with Mike Brown, 6 straight championships. He's going to the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. Bubba Jennings is going in this year. It's a great class. So, but I think sometimes we don't know the person well. Coach Brown was my teacher, my coach at Holy Ghost. His mother was my teacher. So there's always connections with this game, Wally.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I just want to share with you, I saw one of my old coaches in terms of wins within New Mexico. There's a couple different lists out there, but he's number 2, Pete Schock. So I saw him, you know, I hadn't seen him in a while. So I played for him my sophomore and junior year at Silver High before he went to Cliff and had fantastic success. And I teased my old coach. I said, you know, Coach, you're a Hall of Fame coach, but you got fired coaching me, so you had to go to another school. And he goes, that's exactly right, Wally. You know how it is.
That's funny because, you know, I officiated some of Coach Schock's games in the state tournament. And, of course, your father, the great Dick Drangmeister, the Hall of Fame RMAC coach. Yeah. So you know about great coaches.
Well, no, my dad was a character and a half, and and it just so happened that Pete played for my dad as well. You know,
wow.
And, so, you know, he went to high school, Cliff, New Mexico, played at Western New Mexico, fantastic defensive player, you know, got his degree at Western, ends up back at Cliff, Hall of Fame career. So.
Right, oh man, that is so awesome. That really is, because again, you mentioned it yourself at the state tournament. There's so many people. I saw Tucumcari coach John Spann. Him and I went to Eastern New Mexico together. So you just see, walking around the concourse, you'll see so many faces that you're familiar with.
Yeah, you know, and one of the things that if you've never been here, is there are some teams that draw here in the state tournament, whether it's here out at Santa Ana, wherever it is, you know, Espanola Valley when they get here, you know, Kirtland Central, Gallup. There's these schools where you know, you'll look down here and there'll be 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people. That's all the number of people there are in some of these small communities. It's just fantastic the support that these communities give their programs and the excitement that brings to this building, because you can feel it when some of those teams are playing and they bring a big crowd.
Shiprock was here a couple years ago.
Yes.
They played the Hope Girls. And I remember being up here on the concourse. They had 10,000 strong, and I heard the pit as loud as I had heard it in many years. And I said to somebody, I said, hey, Hope Girls lost that day, but I don't blame them. Anybody would have been a little bit intimidated, including the Lobos, if they had to go on the road and face that kind of crowd. So Shiprock was another one. Santa Fe Indian, they bring a great crowd.
Yeah.
So the NMA, Santa Fe, okay, I got to tell you a story. So Santa Fe plays Atrisco later on in the 8 o'clock game.
Yes.
The last time they were in the state championship was 1978 against Albuquerque High.
Okay.
I was here.
All right.
And the mezzanine was still here, right?
Yes.
So I remember when Santa Fe came out, they had more fans that night than Albuquerque High. And Albuquerque High, home is the pit.
And they drew well back in those days.
So there was probably about 17,000 for that game.
Yes.
And I remember when the Demons came down, they won, they beat Albuquerque High, last state championship. I couldn't believe it. I said to myself, oh my gosh, they bought more fans.
Yes, and we are really looking forward to that game tonight. It's one of those, Santa Fe, they are not big. You know what, I've literally seen 8th grade basketball teams back in the day that were taller than them, but do they play hard, and they're a fun team to watch. I'm so looking forward to that game.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I covered them earlier in the year against Monzano. Quick guards. They'll take advantage of any mismatch. They'll take you off the dribble, drive and kick. They're very aggressive defensively. Zach Cole, the Santa Fe coach, and remember, he's playing out without his star sophomore, J.B. White, one of the best players in the state, Wally, and look what he's done.
Yes.
So Coach Cole's done a tremendous job, as Coach Ortega at Atrisco Heritage, the defending 5A champs.
Yeah,
so that should be a great game.
Yeah, and it's one of those, I've also seen Josiah Ramos for Atrisco Heritage. He makes shots that, I've maybe made as good a shots as he has once in my career, so it's incredible.
No, you know what, they're gonna have to find a way to contain Ramos. He's going to get his, but you hope that he's just not the sole. But they've got other guys, Brooks, Sutphin, Rivas. That's a loaded Gaxiola, Elijah Gaxiola. That is a loaded team, and it's going to be a great 5A final.
All right, well, that's about it for this first segment. The play-by-play man of Team Enye, Ed Nunez. When we come back, we will have his son, the color man, Nick. You're watching the ABQ show here on ProView Networks. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks,
Great
Wally.
conversation. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Gelante Gray going to go off the window.
What a shot.
That's a great inlet pass right before the buzzer. Six to go in the quarter. Ferguson splits a double. It's going to go all the way high window. The tip. Are they going to count it? Yes, they do. Side is Madrid. Hickory dickory block. By Munn.
Welcome back, everybody. Wally Drangmeister here, the ABQ show, live from Dream Style Arena, the pit. We have got a barn burner happening behind us, and we're going to have a hard time not turning around. But I have got the second member of Team Nunez, what I'm calling Team Enye. Yes. So we have Nick. We had Ed, your dad, on in the first segment. Nick, great to have you on the show. Looking forward to visiting with you.
Wally, I'm loving being on the show. We're in a great atmosphere. It's one of the best times of the year, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So how long have you been calling games with your dad, and how did that get started?
Oh, probably since about 2014.
Yeah.
It got started because I was coaching boys basketball over at St. Pius X with Damian Segura. And so my dad started calling games with ProView Networks, and we've been doing it together for about 4 or 5 years now, and we just enjoy it so much.
No, that's a fantastic thing to do with anybody, and it's got to be special to do that with your father as well.
Oh, absolutely. And we're one of the only father-son duos in town. He brags about that all the time. But, you know, he's calling basketball, football, all kinds of stuff for the NMAA and for ProView, and it's just such a privilege to be able to do it with him, honestly.
Now, not to put you on the spot, what is your pedigree athletically, and did you have any success in state championships? And just so you know, I played, I did not. So
no worries. No. I played at Pius from 2007 to 2010.
Yes.
Some people may remember St. Pius three-peated from 2006 to 2008. That was the boys program.
Yes.
So I was a part of the program during that. My junior year, we lost in the quarterfinals here on this court to Espanola Valley in 2009. And my senior year, we lost to Roswell, who won the state championship in 2010. So I have experience playing in the state tournament again. It's such a great atmosphere, and I just can't get enough of it every year.
Well, you know, I was talking with your dad in the first segment about certain teams just bring fans. Espanola Valley, that had to be one of the loudest games you've ever played in, because they bring the people when they play in the pit.
And I'll be honest with you, I've never said this out publicly, but I was a junior that
Yes.
year. There was about 12,000 people in the arena.
Yes.
I didn't want to touch the ball sometimes because it was so loud, and like you said, they have such a great fan base. Yeah, teams like Espanola, Gallup will bring some fans,
Yes.
Portland Central. We're seeing it right now. Valley's brought a good contingent of fans. So, yeah, it's great to see New Mexico communities support the high school teams here. It's such a privilege.
Yeah, so now you were out earlier in the week at the Santa Ana Star Arena calling games out there. Talk a little bit about, are there any games, any teams that didn't make it, just some plays, some players, some situations that stick out for you?
Sure. Starting with Cuba. Cuba played, they're in the Cuba 3A boys team. They played Santa Fe Indian in the quarterfinals, and that's where they lost. They had a good game. It went right down to the wire.
Yeah.
That's the game that sticks out to me the most, Wally. My dad was at Santa Ana more than me, but you know, there was a bunch of teams that played out in Santa Ana on Wednesday that just, you know, didn't advance, but it was just a good round overall of quarterfinal basketball.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize just, you know, the pressure that is on. If you've never played in an environment about that, you know,
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Hey everyone, Adam Diehl here with ProView Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention.
Are we back up? Sorry about that, little technical difficulties. Okay, we were talking about some special games that you saw, you know, some teams that maybe didn't advance, some moments that stick out for you.
Yeah, well, you know, starting with, again, staying with 3A boys, since that's the championship my dad and I called today. Sandia Prep playing in the in the semifinals this year, losing yesterday to the Hot Springs, who ended up winning the state championship today. Shout out to Marcos Rivera playing in his first state semifinal for the Sandia Prep Sun Devils. He coached at St. Pius with Damian Segura for a long time, and he had a great year this year. So Sandia Prep boys, congrats to them. Congrats to Santa Fe Indian boys, again from the 3A class. They had a heck of a year this year, almost pulled out the state championship. So from 3A, that's who my shout out is to. It looks like here Valley has just defeated Los Lunas in the 4A state boys finals. Shout out to the Los Lunas Tigers, who had an excellent year this year, coached by Travis Julian. Fell just short today, 37-34. Wally, those are the teams that stick out the most for me.
Well, and you know, Valley has not won it a bunch, but they have made unexpected runs. And in my memory, I believe this is the third one that they've had. when they get on a roll here, they, shout out to them. Fantastic victory.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And head coach for Valley, Joe Coleman, has been coaching at Valley for so long, probably 20-some years. And I think this might, like you said, this is his second or third state championship. So congratulations to the Valley Vikings this year.
Well, the game that sticks out for me, the Mescalero girls, they went down, they lost, but they played so well, and the crowd was so loud. The only ones that are louder might have been, ones like when Espanola Valley or Albuquerque High or Hobbs back in the day, Albuquerque High. So, the pressure they played under the poise, and I just want to shout out in a losing effort. I was so impressed by that team. Even though they didn't pull it out, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched the end of that game, and just in that same vein, shout out to the Newcomb Skyhawks who played in the 8 a.m. game this morning against Pecos in the 2A boys final. Newcomb had a fabulous year. They only lost 2 games coming into the state championship, played their hearts out, ended up falling short to Pecos today, 58-37, but shout out to the Newcomb Skyhawks as well.
Well, and as you know, whether you're announcing or just watching them, you can't watch this many games without some things blending together. And so when you have somebody that's seen 20 games, and to have things stick out, they were special. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We cover the entire state tournament from the start of the first round until the state championships today. So like you said, so many teams, so many great communities coming out and supporting New Mexico. It's fabulous.
All right. Well, Nick, it has been fantastic visiting with you. And like I say, you guys can use it. Team Enye, father and son Ed and Nick Nunez, broadcast partners, great New Mexicans, and working out here hard at the NMAA state tournament. So thank you, everybody, for watching the ABQ show. We will see you soon.
Attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
For 55